Today we're going to be talking about 10 times Rockstar almost made you stop playing Grand Theft Auto. We're talking about missions that made you just want to snap your controller in half, take the game out of your console and never play it again. Those rage-inducing moments that we've all experienced while playing video games. We're going to be talking about that in this video today. So at the number 10 spot today, the mission Supply Lines Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. So Supply Lines is basically the San Andreas version of Vice City's Demolition Man, where you had to bring down a building with a toy helicopter. In GTA San Andreas, you're given one terribly controlling toy biplane as the mission is to gun down gangsters, evade fire, and blow up a number of vans, all as your fuel allowance is constantly draining. So the response for this was so incendiary, Rockstar actually altered the speed at which the fuel drains when San Andreas came to Xbox. So I guess you could say Rockstar was still experimenting with this mission, but it was easily one of the worst the series has ever seen. It's almost like they didn't learn their lesson from Demolition Man and Vice City. Playing with RC cars with these wacky controls is not very fun, especially when you're given either a time limit or something is draining and you have to complete it before it's all gone. One of the worst missions of all time. Number 9 spot today, pulling favors, Grand Theft Auto 5. So GTA 5 seemed to try and find the Venn diagram loop between San Andreas' love for minigames and GTA 4's maturity by including missions dedicated to some of the most mundane things in gaming history. So one of the missions you can do is pulling favors, which has you literally towing cars for just half an hour. Nothing more, nothing less. This mission is first introduced by one of the strangers and freaks that Tanya gives you as Franklin. And you have to listen to her the entire time talking about how she has problems with her life, why Franklin doesn't like her anymore. I mean, this mission is literally just drive up, hook the car, drive back, drop off, and then rinse and repeat. It's one of the most boring missions of all time. And what's kind of funny is the game sort of directs you to do this as one of the first that you do also. So it's like one of your first real experiences with the game, and it's just terrible. The number 8 spot today, Kingdom Come, Grand Theft Auto 3. So Kingdom Come in some ways exemplified the way players could think their way out of any awkward combat scenario. Parking a car on the road before a target activated to hem them in a regular fave. But in this case, you had to think of some other way than just standing your ground, because any one of these suicidal maniacs would down you in one blast. Basically, this mission just had a bunch of psychopaths running at you over and over and over again, when all you could really do is throw grenades or Molotovs back at them to sort of keep yourself safe. It was just one of the most frustrating missions of all time, which is weird because GTA 3 had some of the best missions set across the whole franchise, but Kingdom Come was certainly not one of those. The number 7 spot today, Amphibious Assault, GTA San Andreas. So Grand Theft Auto and swimming have never really gone well together. Whether it's the instant death-bringing water of GTA 3 and Vice City, to the pointless waterways of GTA 4 or the sluggish submarines of GTA 5, it kind of makes you wonder why Rockstar keep trying to make water work. Now, Amphibious Assault only contributed to this disdain, tasking you with swimming without being detected up to a number of boats to some offshore targets. The problem was you had to spend hours away underwater from the mission to rank up your lung capacity enough to get through it. And the worst part of this all, you don't even need to go underwater to do this. If you just buy a sniper rifle, you can complete the mission by blowing up the targets from far away instead. A real facepalm moment, and it was for me when I first played this as well, trying to swim around all these various boats, when I could have just stayed dry on land using a sniper rifle to take them all out. We talked about it earlier at the number 6 spot today, Demolition Man, Vice City. So Demolition Man was where you had to take a toy RC helicopter and you had to place explosives on multiple stories of an unfinished construction building. And navigating this little helicopter was by far one of the worst experiences of all time. So you were on a time limit. Players were shooting at you. You had to navigate your way upstairs. The controls were tricky. It was just terrible. The physics were horrible. Again, it seemed like an okay idea in theory, but Rockstar's execution was just not great at all. And because of that, it's going to go down as one of the most frustrating missions of all time. I can't tell you how many times I have rage quit GTA Vice City because I couldn't get past this stupid little helicopter mission. It's just so frustrating and one of easily the worst experiences in that game. The number 5 spot today, Freefall, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. So this mission is exactly as it sounds. CJ has to free fall from one plane to another, the size of which, while it happens, making him a giant and entering casually through the door way up in the clouds. So the problem with this mission is really the only solution to completing it was trial and error until you could predetermine the exact route the plane would take and attempt to cut it off instead of actually catching up to the target. Now, this process could take hours, and considering the lack of checkpoints and the array of things that could go wrong within this mission, it was simply time-wasting agony. This is one of, again, the worst missions in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, just because of how hard it is. Trying to navigate from those planes was incredibly difficult. Just not one of the best missions Rockstar came up with, that's for sure. The number 4 spot today, The Driver, GTA Vice City. So The Driver was one of the most frustrating missions because it pitted you up against an AI whose car was literally bolted to the road. That is some physics breaking mayhem and not in a good way. So the AI car was driven by a person named Hillary, and the mission itself was to simply beat Hillary in a one-on-one race. However, due to those physics, trying to get ahead and even the slightest swerve would send you careening into a nearby building. Try to leave something in his path to get a head start, and it'd get knocked aside. Do anything other than drive a perfect race, having memorized every last one of his blind spots, and you were toast. It was one of the hardest driving missions we've ever seen in GTA, and those physics back in the day made it that much more difficult. The number 3 spot today, the Snowstorm, Grand Theft Auto 4. So this is one of the hardest missions in the game, simply due to the sheer amount of enemies you have to face. So the Snowstorm has you going to an abandoned hospital, and basically you have to fight your way through a bunch of goons in corridors and rooms of an abandoned hospital on an island. And just when you thought everything was done, you get a 5-star wanted level that you have to shake off. And if you don't get rid of that 5-star wanted level, you have to restart the mission completely. Easily one of the most frustrating tasks in the game. The hospital is also filled with explosive barrels, gasoline cans that you can accidentally blow up and set yourself ablaze. So it was just a really hard mission that had you doing a ton, and a lot of things had to go right for you to do it perfectly. So it's why it's one of the hardest missions in the game. I know when I was playing GTA 4, I easily failed this a couple times before I was able to complete it. The number 2 spot today, wrong side of the tracks, GTA San Andreas. So you guys all know the words. All we had to do was follow the damn train, CJ. Yeah, that's where this comes from. So this was a super hard mission that had you and Big Smoke following a train all along San Andreas, trying to shoot people on top, on side, and people getting in your way. There's a reason the words, all we had to do was follow the damn train, CJ, is so ingrained into everyone's memory, is because you heard it so much because of how often you failed this mission. I mean, it was so difficult, but this is probably the one that became the most legendary of them all. Not only because of what Big Smoke said, but just truly how hard this mission was to do almost perfectly the first time. And at the number 1 spot today, Death Row Vice City. So this is a mission that is difficult due to the mechanics of GTA Vice City. In that game, it was really hard to lock on to other characters. Sometimes the game wouldn't recognize that there's a character closer to you that you'd like to lock on than one that's super far away that really isn't a danger to you. And that was really tough because this mission takes place in a junkyard where you have enemies staggered all over the place. And because of the game's broken lock-on mechanics, it was really tough to have to free aim your way to killing all of these enemies. So someone literally 2 feet from you, you might not be able to lock on because someone 20 feet away is like peeking their head out from like a trash can. And that's what the game would lock on to. So it was really difficult, by far the hardest mission in my opinion in GTA Vice City. But anyways, that right there is 10 times Rockstar almost made you stop playing Grand Theft Auto due to frustrating situations, near impossible missions, and a whole lot more. If there's a moment that made you stop playing that I didn't mention in this video, be sure to let us know in the comments down below right now. I'd love to hear from you guys down there. If you did go on to enjoy this video though, a like rating would of course be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With that out of the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.